Hey
Okay.
there. Today I'm talking to CJ, who is one of my latest program graduates. And I'd have to say, she is a rock star client. She had this stuff down. She was absolutely great. But before we get into that, CJ, if it's okay with you, I'm going to ask you some questions. So,
Absolutely.
what was it that made you like, how long has it been since you dated?
Well, my husband passed away a little over 12 and a half years ago, and I hadn't really been dating. I had a short relationship with somebody, but they were out of town, so it was safe. And it had been a good 6 years since I had had that relationship, and I just wasn't doing anything. I just put my head down and worked. I was working. I had my sister and my brother and my family nearby, and that was it. I was, you blink and years go by.
So, was there anything in particular that kept you from dating?
Fear, to be honest with you. I like a lot of people, I watched like 2020 and those exposés of, oh no, you went on a date with somebody and they chopped you up into little pieces and yet you survived. And so it was scaring me. It seemed like it was always popping up in my feed, don't date because you'll die. And so, and I was, you get to a certain age. I love the fact that you specialized in women over 50, and because there nobody talks about us at all. I mean, the Golden Bachelor is a huge hit because wow, they woke up and found out there are a lot of women and men our age that are interested in, dating and having another life with somebody else. So I just got to the point where the need for companionship and to have fun again was greater than my fear.
I can understand that. So, what made you decide to get coaching?
Well, I never in a million years thought I would do that, but I was fortunate enough to take some classes from you and other offerings. My sister and I love the way you break things down. So when you let us know that, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do coaching for dating for women of a certain age, and I jumped on it. It was like, well, if you can break down other things, you're going to be able to break this down for me. And I was not disappointed at all.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, how would you say overall the coaching program worked for you?
Well, I like the fact it was broken down in manageable portions. I work full time and I travel for my work, so I don't have a lot of spare time. And your program allowed me to be able to take it a step at a time. Um, the way you were doing it then, it was one-on-one, and I got a lot of come to Jesus moments with you because you would present an idea and I would go, no, there's no way I can do that. And you would go, yes, you can. Let's unpack it. Let's find out why you feel that way. So it forced me to face a lot of the fears, and some of them are legitimate and some of them aren't because we get in our head so easily. So it really made me grow up, I guess is the word. And we're grown adults, but we do act like little children sometimes, especially when fears and change is concerned. So I was very impressed with the way you laid it out, and you didn't make me do anything. It was always up to me whether or not
Mhm.
I was willing to take a risk or do one of your projects. Or I remember one of them, I'm not going to give away anything, was that I had to flirt with people. And I was like, what? And so I, and you told us places to try it, like the grocery store and stuff like that. So I would come back the next time I knew I was going to have a meeting with you. I was like, I better do my homework. So I'd go to Trader Joe's and I'd look for some unsuspecting person and I go, hey, and then I'd run. So it was a lot of fun to have homework and to have stuff that I could work on, and not feel like I was alone.
No, you were never alone. And I have to say, I was so impressed with your um, your ability and your decisions to do the homework. There was a little bit of arguing with you occasionally, but most of the time you
A
were
little.
pretty willing to go about it. So are there any of those come to Jesus moments you feel like you can talk about?
Yeah, the whole how you hold yourself, because you taught that we have to let know that we're interested or that we're approachable. Um, One of my brothers is single, and he tells me horror stories about being kind to a woman in a store, and then she takes his head off, and I was like, really? And I've got friends of mine that are men, and they're like, oh, I'm afraid to, get near a woman right now because I never know if she's gonna, appreciate it or not. And so you gave me the tools to be able to, hey, well, how am I holding myself? Am I making eye contact? Am I smiling? And something as
Hmm.
simple as smiling has been a huge thing. And you taught me how to practice um, flirting. And you would think, oh, we are women. We know how to flirt. Yeah, when I was 20, I knew how to flirt. But once I got married, it's like, you don't really need it anymore, or at least you think you don't. And
Hmm.
um and I had never planned to be without my husband. He, died suddenly. It was never in the cards for me to be out dating again. So I had to learn how to flirt again. And I know a lot of people go, well, oh, it must be easy for you and stuff. Nuh-uh. Mm-mm. Nope. I don't care who you are. You can look like a model, or you can look like you hit every branch of the ugly tree, everything in between. It's hard to flirt. It really is, unless you know what you're doing. And then you demystify it. And that's what I liked about it, is you demystified it and you gave me tools to practice. And I
Well,
do,
I've
I
seen you
practice.
in action. I think you've learned that lesson pretty well.
I'm still
You're,
practicing.
you are definitely a killer flirt. I love that. So would you call the whole coaching program successful?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I joke with people that I went from not dating at all, from 0 to 60, I haven't even been dating 6 months yet. And I've been able to attract the attention of some really dear people, you know, and get to know them and just enjoy the whole thing. I mean, I'm not looking to get married tomorrow because I'm enjoying dating right now. Maybe in a year, I'll get serious with somebody, but I'm having a lot of fun with the dating and getting to know people and experiencing new things. It's been a blast.
That's wonderful. Did you have any big aha moments, like something that was completely mystifying you before, and then all of a sudden you went, ah,
Well, okay. I've been on a journey as well to shed weight. I'm halfway through where I need to be. And I remember at my heaviest, you told me I will not be the first fat girl or the last fat girl to get a date. And so I was like, oh, okay. Because a lot of times we think, oh, well, you have to already be at your goal weight. You already have to be this or have to be that. No, not at all. In fact,
w-
one of the people that I've been seeing said, I knew you when you were at your heaviest and I still liked you. And I was like, really? So that even confirmed what you had said, that it's the energy you put out. It's being open. It's loving yourself first, which is something that you teach as well, and getting comfortable in your own skin that attracts the men to you. So,
I have long had a theory that it's not as much what you look like, although everybody has preferences.
yeah,
Everybody has a tall or a short or a thin or a thinner
blonde or
or
big
blonde
boobs,
or
little
there. Yeah,
boobs. Yeah.
whatever. Everybody has some preferences, and that's fine. But I have long believed that men tend to react more to the energy that you're bringing forward more than the it's the energy that makes you beautiful. In other words, you're probably already beautiful as you are. You're beautiful, but the energy that you put out, that makes people go, "Whoa,"
It's
I
true. I
think.
mean, you taught me just some ways of holding myself and, opening, even right now, I'm, holding myself open, was something that I just wasn't doing because I wasn't in the market. I didn't want people to talk to me. I was afraid to be talking to people. So my energy was down, my shoulders are down. I just wasn't approachable. And when people would flirt with me, even when I was in that state, I'd be shocked. I was like, who are they talking to? Because they're not talking to me, you know? So I just learned so much from the way you lay it out. You've demystified it. I guess that's the best way for me to say it. You demystified the whole thing of dating. And because especially in these days and times when y- you can go down a rabbit hole and watch the most negative things about people going out on a date and disappearing and all this other stuff. But you even dealt with all that too. You have a portion where you're like, yeah, this is how you're safe. If you're on the dating apps, this is how you're safe if you're doing this. You don't close your eyes and hope that it's not going to happen. You give us tools to be safe and to be
Hmm.
common sense kind of stuff. And yeah, I just can't say enough good things about the fact that you demystified it. I'll use that word over and over again because the people I've talked to that I've told them, hey, you need to check Diane out because if you really do want to get back into the dating world, she can help you, you know, and she can put up with your whiny because I was so whiny and like such a crybaby sometimes. I was like, I can't do this. This sucks. Do I have to? Several times I remember telling you, do I have to?
I think I would call it you were a little resistant in places. I never thought of you as being whiny. You weren't whiny. You were just a little resistant at time, and that's perfectly normal when people are learning a whole new thing.
Yeah. And it is a whole new thing. Something you haven't done in 40 years. Yeah.
It's different now, isn't it?
It's totally different. I mean, oh my goodness, everything's changed. And some for the better, some not, you know. But one thing I've realized, and you did make it very clear, there are good people out there. Whether
Hmm.
you want to be with a man or a woman, it's your choice. There are good people out there. And they're just like you, and they're scared, and they would love to make a connection, you know. And I have no doubt that I will probably be married, you know, not too long from now. Like I said, I'm giving myself a year to enjoy dating and meeting people. And you helped me open up the types of people that I would date as well, you know? Um,
Explain that.
well, because I'm not going to give away all your tips that you taught me because people
No.
need to hire you. But you helped me realize what I was actually looking for, what deal breakers there were for me. Some are non-negotiable, some are negotiable. And then you started questioning, well, do you really want this? Does that mean that you're only going to date people that are 6'4"? You know, there might be some sweetheart that's, under 6 feet. And I was like, oh, how could you say that? But you taught me to walk with an open heart. And because of that, I've met some really sweet people that ordinarily wouldn't have dated. It's like, sorry, you don't meet this, and this, you know? But by giving them a chance, I've been very pleasantly surprised by how fantastic they are.
Oh, that's amazing. So if somebody is out there saying, I want to date, I want to do coaching, no, I don't want to do coaching, I do want to do, I got to get out of this pattern I'm in, what would you tell them?
Um, Pay your bills, don't steal from your babies to do it, But if you have the resources, um, do it. It's one of the best investments you'll make in yourself. I mean, we spend money on some of the stupidest things. We really do. If you stop shopping on Amazon because you're in a bad mood and trying to make yourself feel better for 6 months, you'll save a chunk of change. Use that
That's
instead,
very true.
to take the course. Um, I realized I'm worth it because it was a big ask. I was just like, what? I'd never spent that much money on myself. We don't think twice about for our loved ones spending that kind of money or if somebody needs something. Don't think twice about it. For ourselves as women, we have a hard time if it doesn't, sparkle on your fingers, um, spending. an investment on ourselves, especially into the great unknown.
Hmm.
And the rewards, the dividends that you get back on the investment. I mean, if you're on the fence, get off the fence. Either decide you're going to be alone, which is a good choice. I know women that will never date again. They had their great loves. They feel like they're too old to change. I've been told that. I'm too old to change. I don't want anybody in my life that would take up my space. I
And that's
wasn't there
perfectly
yet.
legitimate
Yep.
if that
I,
is a decision you want to make. I am
yes.
so okay with that if
Oh,
that
yeah.
is a decision rather
Hmm.
than a default.
Yes. But if you're not ready to call it quits, and if you want companionship or just to feel the thrill of flirting again, and then realizing that you could have a really good match with somebody else out there, then it's worth the investment. It really is. I mean, nothing is 100%. You don't do the work because I did the work with you. I was willing to push myself out of my comfort
Hmm.
zone.
Hmm.
Some of the asks that you did, I was like, what? This makes no sense. But you're like, just trust me, it builds, it builds. So,
Hmm.
and you helped get me out of my own head because you've heard it so many times. That's one of the reasons why you are a good coach. I'm not the first person that's going to say the same dumb thing that you've heard 10 other people say.
Right.
And you,
And usually myself
yes,
included. I said it a lot to
yes.
myself.
And I like that you know where we're coming from because you didn't get
Hmm.
married until you're what, almost 60. You're 58?
58, yeah, I
Yeah.
dated for over 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the time I was 16 to 58, it was over 40 years. Yeah.
So so you know the dating world.
Hmm.
What there is and what there and the games. Because people play games as well, and that's okay. Because you've given me the power to say, I gotta go. You're not mine.
Right.
Thank you for the cup of coffee, but not today. So
Right.
yeah, just the investment is worth it. If you're on the fence, like I said, pay your bills. Know that,
Right. Right.
know that you're not taking any money from money that needs to be somewhere else. But if you have it, spend it on yourself because you're worth it.
Hmm.
It's time to realize you're worth it. So, I know I sound like a commercial, but I can't tell you how happy and how, I mean, it's kind of the point where I think I shared with you, I had to have a no boys day. I was like, I'm not talking to anybody. I went from not dating at all to going, I have to have a day where I'm not texting or talking to any of the people that are pursuing me. And I'm just not going to. So,
And just for the audience sake, you went from not having dated in like 11 years
yeah.
to how many guys are
Four.
circling you?
There were four. There were four that were interested enough to ask me out and everything else. So yeah,
And
that's a
and
lot.
and for context, you haven't even cracked open a dating app yet.
Not yet. No, I still have the phone and everything else that you told me to set up. And I was talking to somebody that I'm seeing, and I said, I have to turn the phone on because I'm supposed to, you know, get on the apps. He goes, you don't need the apps, you have me. I was like, that's very sweet, but you have to understand, I just want to get over the fear. And because she gave me all these tools and she demystified it for me. I just want to do it to check the box and finish the last of my homework. I may not meet anybody on it. And no, I don't need to right now. But I will have done it. That's the whole thing.
Well, and this is so important because I want to emphasize this for the audience. You have no idea how many people I talk to who just say there are no men where I am.
Yeah.
And and they could be talking about Dallas Fort Worth, the
Hmm.
land of 8 million people, or they may be talking about, if you're in a farm in Idaho, this might be a little more difficult to navigate. But when you're in a large city and you're telling me there aren't any men, I don't believe you. I just don't. So, because you probably would have said the same thing beforehand. And then when you turned on your light, they're like moths, circling you or porch light.
It's
They're
weird.
everywhere.
It is so
They're
weird.
everywhere.
The first person I dated, um, It's because I told him I've got a dating coach, and he has just gotten divorced. And I was like, "Are you on the apps?" He goes, "Yeah." So I was asking him for tips. I said, "I have to get on the apps." And so he ended up pursuing me, and he asked me out, and I was like, "What? What?" He goes, "Look, you're not you haven't even gotten on the apps yet, and you're getting your first date." And I was like, "Okay," but it's because I was talking about the fact I had a dating coach, and I wanted, to get on the app. So it's funny, just the things you start talking about and the fact that you're talking to people in a different way. So it's been interesting.
Well, and I do want to emphasize to everybody that the vast majority of people that are on apps are good people. They're not the ones that are going to chop you into little pieces. But when that happens, it gets amplified so many times that that becomes the big fear because that's what you hear and that's what you remember. You don't know that 40% of the relationships going on right now came from dating apps. You're not thinking in terms of that because you heard about this one big bugaboo. Obviously, I believe in dating safely because
Yes.
that's a part of it. If you're
Hmm.
going to do it, we need to know how to be safe, and
Hmm.
that's a smart thing to do. But if people looked at every man out there as danger, 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 guess what you're going to find? Danger, danger, danger. You have to be able to look with a different set of glasses that say, "Oh, look at that. That's a good guy. That's a good guy. That's a good guy. He may not be my match forever, but he's still a
Hmm.
decent guy. You know, he just is a good person."
What's
So,
funny is talking to that gentleman about the apps, they had the same fears I did because he's like, I'm afraid I'm going to meet somebody, she's going to drug me, and I'm going to wake up in the desert without my kidneys. And I was like, what? So, and this was a big, tall guy. And I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
you really think that? He's like, mm-hmm. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
okay. So it's not just the women that,
No, no, there's enough of anything bad that actually goes on somewhere that it kind of seeps into the consciousness, but the vast majority of people are decent. So, and I also teach them in that same program how to be scam free too, because, online a scam is much more likely than waking up in the desert without your kidneys.
yeah.
But that can be managed as well. And as I tell everybody who's ever listened to me, anywhere. I met my husband on Craigslist Personals, which you can't even do anymore because sex trafficking was going on there. But the reason I did it is because my intuition told me on New Year's Eve 2017, and it talked to me like a person was right over my shoulder, put an ad on Craigslist. I was like, that's idiotic. Are you kidding me? Just do it. All right. Well, so I got 300 responses overnight, and the very last one I talked to, I married 365 days after meeting him in person. So, you like if I can navigate Craigslist, anybody else can navigate Match.com. So
Yes,
it's
yes.
doable. So, anything else you would like to tell our audience about?
Yeah, it works. If you work the steps, it works. Just like if you're going to learn how to ride a bicycle, you listen you put the training wheels on, you pay attention, you try, and you have to get your butt on the actual bicycle if that's what you want to learn. Um, because of the fact that there was my skin was in the game, my money. I had paid money. So that made me very motivated to do what I needed to do. It's like, I'm not wasting my money. I'm not gonna pay for something and not use it. So it was worth every single penny. I mean, I feel at ease with people. And it's not just the dating too. It's opened me up to new friendships, you know, and bringing bringing more light into my life and realizing that there is life after um, the death of your spouse. There's life. And or a bad divorce. People I've talked to where, they thought they had married the one and it didn't work out. And once the heartbreak clears, there's life. There's somebody else that needs me or needs you, you know. Um, At this age, we're not in it to have babies. We're not,
Thank you.
yes, most of us are usually, secure. We've got jobs, we've got our lives, we've got an apartment or a house or whatever. We're okay. So we're not in it to, snag a husband to take care of us and give us babies and all that other stuff. It's actually a very interesting journey at this age because it is for companionship. It is for sex too, because we're not dead yet. And
Very
just
true.
saying, ladies. And so it's just the experience of being alive again, you know. And I know people will say, "Well, I was alive and everything else." I was just working. I was just working and marking time and being afraid. And so I love the fact that, I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid to say hi to a stranger. I'm not afraid to talk to people. I practiced my flirting with a woman tonight because I'm on show site. And not because I wanted to date her, but because I just wanted to practice talking to a stranger. So I was just
Hmm.
talking to her and she talked to me, and we were both sitting at the bar eating our meal. So it was nice to be able to talk to somebody. That's one thing that you taught me is just practice. Practice with people. It's not always about, hey, it's just practicing talking to other human beings and finding out how much in common we all have.
Well, you had a lot to go through to get to the stage where you did here, and I'm proud of all the work you did with me and other ways that you did your work. And I'm very proud of you and proud of what you've come through and where you are now. You glow. You just glow right now, you know? I'm just I'm very, very happy for you. And I
Thank you. I
hope I'm
appreciate
a
it.
bridesmaid.
Me too.
Someday,
Someday.
somewhere, someday. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think that pretty much covered it. Like I
Yes,
said, if you're on the fence, just do it. You won't regret it. Work the plan and move forward. That's
that's
all.
great. Thank you so much.